We have seen the largest looting operation in history perpetrated against the American people. Over $5 trillion in junk securities were marketed and sold. They had a real value of about $2 trillion. The other $3 trillion roughly was pure fiction. The banks created and sold these throughout the world, with the full knowledge and support of Congress, the Fed, and the banks themselves. It was pure fraud. Granting someone a mortgage based only on whether they can fog a mirror is proof positive of malfeasance. Unless you disclose this fact to buyers of these securities, a fact that was not disclosed until after the securities blew up. Lenders, builders, and others pressured appraisers to hit the numbers to support these fraudulent deals. Proof of that is found in the nearly 10-year-old appraiser's petition bearing thousands of appraiser signatures. That ratings were a mistake, either real or intentional, is a matter of now known historical fact. Americans have sat on their butts through all of this, allowed their 401ks and IRAs to be trashed, their supposed home values to be pumped up and then destroyed, and their hopes, dreams, employment, and house have all vanished in the ether of fraud. When this came to light, the banks went to Congress, and supported by the Fed's intention of draining of liquidity to create an immediate crisis, they got a $700 billion bailout bill passed. One that you, your children, your grandchildren will have to pay for. The government then passed another near $1 trillion stimulus bill to hold unemployment to 8%. It did not, because it was yet another papering over of the fraud. But that bill your children and grandchildren, along with you, will also have to pay for. Your savings accounts and CDs now yield an effective 0. Your credit card interest rates have gone from 11% to 29%. All so that the banks can keep granting ill-advised credit to people who can't pay. Those who can pay, the rest of you, are being jacked for 30% a year in interest. We have seen a few tea parties in which a few people showed up, in which were immediately panned by those in power as AstroTurf. Contrast with this, that a few days ago, Iran held an election. It is alleged that there was a massive fraud. The current president claimed victory under less than clear circumstances. The people said, hell no, in this sort of demonstration. Yeah, that's right. 2 million people out of 70 million population, roughly, or 1 in 35 Iranians in the entire nation who took the streets to demand justice in a simple vote. More strikingly, Tehran, a population of roughly 12 million, this means that 1 in 6 citizens of the city are standing in that crowd. This despite the fact that the government has been shooting people, has arrested the opposition party, and issued an order to burn the ballots so there can be no recount. This despite the fact that the Iranian population does not even enjoy a Second Amendment, and thus is forced to fight a rogue government with makeshift Molotov cocktails, rocks, and clubs. Should that rogue government choose to shoot, well, that's what they have. And this was about an election, a president, one man. The Iranian people did this. In our nation, we have had literally 1/3 of our GDP, that is 1/3 of everything that you worked for last year, stolen by a bunch of fraudsters with the explicit cooperation and assistance of the government. We should be seeing 10 million Americans literally closing Washington, D.C. with peaceful protest in the streets, making the entirety of the downtown inaccessible to vehicles and the normal conduct of business impossible. We're Americans to display the same sort of anger over an insult, vastly more serious than that served upon the Iranian people. If 1 in 6 Americans had enough in America's big cities, there would be 1 million people in the streets of Chicago, enough to fill Chicago's loop from Lake Michigan, I-90 and 94, and from the Chicago River to beyond Soldier Field, rendering the city core impassable. Roughly double that crowd shows up for the 4th of July fireworks. To put in perspective, the same in New York City would result in a crowd of 3.3 million people. Where are you, America? In America, if the government turns into a goon squad, you have the constitutionally protected ability to shoot back. In Iran, you have no such ability, as the Iranian government has never recognized the unalienable rights as set forth in our declaration. So in Iran, the population risks mass death to protest. In America, the population risks loss of some income since you'd have to cut work. The Iranians take to the streets. We take to our couches and have another beer. Grow a pair, America. The people of Iran are putting us to shame. Are you proud to be an American? You should be ashamed to be an American right now.
Drain all your lifeblood while begging for more.